Okay. Conspiracy theories. Uh, People think that conspiracy theories, like, me and, like, all the other conspiracy theorists, like, I don't know any conspiracy theorists besides Shane Dawson, but who the fuck cares? Anyway, uh, well, I mean, I'm just drinking my root beer. Uh, anyway, so people think that, like, conspiracy theorists are, like, crazy and stuff. They think, like, dude, this guy thinks the earth is flat. I'm open to the idea of a flat earth, okay? It's like, it seems pretty, like, believable. Like when astronauts, they go up into space and then they take, like, those, like, photos and shit, or they take, like, the video. You always see those live streams on YouTube from, like, NASA and shit, and, like, SpaceX. Wouldn't I be able to see, like, something round, or if I'm, like, in, like, an airplane, wouldn't I be able to see it, like, roundish? I mean, if I'm, like, like 10,000 meters into the sky, wouldn't I be able to see some kind of, like, you know? But, yeah, people think that, like, they're insane. But imagine, like, Antarctica and the Arctic. They're both, they say that Antarctica is at the bottom of the globe, and at the top it's the Arctic. The North and the South Pole. But, but they always, like, want to stop people. The government, all countries want to stop you from going to Antarctica. They don't want anybody there, and if, like, researchers are there, they have to, like, have them, like, tracked, and they're, like, these big, like, ice walls. Imagine Earth is like a disc, like, kind of like a dinner plate, in, like, Antarctica is the wall, you know, and then there's this, like, underside of it. It's still like we still have, like, an atmosphere and stuff, like, I'm starting to sound like a fucking Christian from saying this, but there's, like, I'm not saying, like, there's, like, heaven or hell or anything, but imagine if, like, the Earth has, like, a center, but it's, like, inside, like, a disc, kind of, and then, like, Antarctica is, like, the wall, but we can't go past that wall, because that's where, like, the atmosphere cuts off, and then it goes, and then you just float out into space. And that's why the government doesn't want you doing that, and if you see it, they're gonna wanna fucking just, like, the government is hiding a lot of shit. Like at Area 51, they don't tell us what's going on there. I'm not saying there are aliens there because, think about it like this. I know there is life. I know for a fact that there is life outside of the solar system because it's just so possible, But, like, where those aliens exist, they don't have the technology to come here, They don't have the technology to acknowledge us. We don't even have the technology to acknowledge them, and we're probably one of the smartest things in the entire universe and shit, But anyway, Area 51. In the government, they're just so secretive about it. This is why you can't trust the government. Because they want to control you. Okay? And they want to lower the population too, because there's so many people that move to America for freedom. Saying that this country is the land of the free is, for one, bullshit, because we barely have any freedom at all. And two, what was I gonna say? Lost my fucking train of thought. Sorry, guys. I drink bangs or barks or whatever the thing's called. Not that A&W shit. Anyway, like 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I have this theory where, they say, like, like when the people were hijacking the plane, they're like, "Yo, we're about to fly this into the Twin Towers." When the Middle Easterns were like on the plane and shit, they said that people were calling them. In 2001, you couldn't call somebody on your cell. Not even today, you can't call somebody on a cell phone from the plane. It just doesn't work like that. There's no service because you're like that high into the sky. It doesn't work like that. My theory is that the planes were hijacked. That's true. But the government took them somewhere. They landed them, somewhere. And then they executed them. So the plane did land somewhere. Okay? I don't know where. They landed them and then they executed them so that they couldn't spill the beans about the truth. Okay? And, when you see, like, those news broadcasts and, like, every single video of the planes hitting the towers, they always look a bit weird. And they always, like, they go black for, like, just a split second. I have a theory that the planes were CGI and that there were bombs in the building. The government put bombs in there, and then they had these CGI planes going into it, and then right when they did that, they just set the bombs off. They timed it just right, And oh god, I used to hear for hours talking about these fucking conspiracy theories. It's not all just comedy and ranting. Sometimes you gotta get your conspiracy theory brain on. And my theory is that George W. Bush did this to lower the population. Okay? And also the hexagon, or the Pentagon, or whatever it is. I don't know what hexagon, pentagon, I don't know. But I don't focus on shapes, I focus on math and grammar, okay? That's the shit that you really need to learn in school. Fuck science, fuck social studies. Learn about math, kids. It's good for you. So, anyway. Where was it? Yeah, so George W. Bush. He did this to lower the population, okay? That's my theory. Now, people may say this is a bit far-fetched, and I understand that. Saying that the president wants to lower the population. Did I seriously drink that shit already? Damn, I'm thirsty. Anyway. And there's just a lot of other, I think about, just what, even with, Apple. Apple owns us, okay? I'm recording this on an Apple phone right now, and they send it to, I'm not saying, they check it or anything, but they're watching, okay? The government is watching you at all times through this fucking camera right here that I'm recording on. The government is watching me, and I know you guys are pieces of shit, and you does not know what privacy is, okay? I'm not saying I want to live in any other country. I do like America. But it's fucked up for the freedoms that we have. We do have a lot of freedoms. But it's not as free as the country states it to be, is what I'm saying. It's a free country. But it's not that free as what they say it is, like liberty and justice for all. But fuck that. Not for all. If liberty and justice for all, why the fuck do we have prisons? Why do we have a jail system? Why do we have to have these, correctional facilities? I wouldn't call that freedom, It's just you should say liberty, like freedom and liberty for the people who don't commit our crimes in these laws that we make. And 60% of these laws are fucking bullshit, God. I'm getting a bit sidetracked. But yeah, Apple, they want to control you. They slow down your phones and shit. when iPhone X came out, and I have my 6 SE, and and then the search for like why is my iPhone so slow or why is my battery going down skyrockets, and they said that, and they do it on purpose. That's not a theory, that's a fact because they legit said it, and it's just like in these celebrities, and there's a lot of shit going on in the music industry, especially with this like hip hop stuff, like Cardi B and Billie Eilish and like all those, they're being forced into it. They just want to be like, oh yeah, I want to be a star, and then it's Sony, okay? If you are trying to find like a music label to be on or something like that, do not sign with Sony because they will fuck your shit up. I don't care what they say. I don't care if Sony comes and kidnaps me or anything like that. Sony will fuck your shit up. Trust me. I saw this one. I can't tell if I can't remember if it was Prince or Michael Jackson, but one of them went out on stage with a sign that said Sony kills and stuff like that, and you're legit slave, like a mind slave. The name for the album that I'm writing and working on. So it's just, it's not just the government controlling you, it's also the music industry. So, like Columbia, Epic, Atlanta, any of those, do not sign with them, okay? And plus, stay on indie labels. Don't move to any of those big ones like Reprise or, not that they have shitty bands. My favorite band, Green Day, My Chemical Romance, they're all on big records. Big record labels and stuff like that, mainstream. I'm not saying mainstream bands are sellouts, but it's just like, if you want to be independent and you're really, like, confident and you, like, if you want to be extremely in control of your music, stay on an indie label, okay? I gotta stop talking about music and shit. But anyway, they have these things called slave contracts. That's not what they're actually called. But they are slave contracts. They say, like, we gotta monitor your weight, your diet, your height, like, everything. They have to track you. And they have to track what you're doing. And, and they force them to write these fucking songs. It takes, like, 20 of these people to write, like, the basic pop song, like, Hotline Bling by Drake, like, you call me on my cell phone. That when did you leave my yeah, all that shit. That could have been wrote with like one fucking person. I could have wrote that, okay? It doesn't take 2,000 people to write one fucking pop song, okay? So like, think twice about being a pop or hip hop star. If you're a punk or country artist or anything like that, you don't really have to worry about it. But if you're like hip hop or anything that this generation, Generation Z or the next one, is obsessed about, if YouTube still exists by then, this video's still up, and it's not forgotten. It'll probably be forgotten in like 24 hours after I post this thing. But yeah. Another thing about 9/11 is that they a few years before that, they tested the Boeing 767 or whatever the fuck the name of the plane was, and they test that plane at a normal, like 400 or 500 miles per hour into the what the World Trade Center, not the World Trade Center, Twin Towers were, whatever. I can't even think of what the fuck they're called because I'm just so... My brain's rushing. I just wanted to make this quick video. Well, it's actually a really long-ass video. This has been going for, 14 fucking minutes. Anyway. And then they were testing it, and they flew the plane right into the material, and it fucking disintegrated. It didn't go through it like butter, like you see in the fucking, whatever videos because it was CGI'd. Okay. Another thing, like disasters, the Titanic. I don't think it was the actual Titanic, okay? They were using this thing, this other ship, but who cares if it wasn't the Titanic or not? That's not really the theory. I was throwing that out there, that it might have not been the legit Titanic. It might have been something else. But anyway, people say that it might have not hit the iceberg on accident. People thought they did it on purpose to make money off of it, and I think some people were who survived saw saw something, or like the other ship, on the side when it was like sinking, or like before they left or whatever, and then they said like, don't say anything or we will kill you, And then I remember one of these guys, he was on his deathbed, and before he died, he said that it wasn't the Titanic or something, because he was gonna die anyway, you might as well say it. But yeah, it could have been dementia or Alzheimer, any of those diseases where you kind of just like, your mind goes, bleh. But yeah, I'm just discussing all these conspiracy theories, and there are a few far-fetched ones too, like one about this one I'm kind of on the bridge between like this is 100% true and like this is fucking bullshit and completely far-fetched. It's the one that they put fluoride in tap water, or just like in schools, and I think this is why you see so many people in like, the special education things, and it's because fluoride lowers your IQ. That's why when I'm in school, I don't drink any of the water unless I'm like extremely dehydrated. When I see people going up and drinking in the fountain, I'm like, hey, did you read about that conspiracy theory? And they're like, what? And it's like, yeah, you might want to bring your own water from now on. And they're like, oh, you're fucking stupid, Isaac. Yeah, why don't you go kill yourself since you're emo? Yeah. And these fucking new generation pieces of shit. Anyway, it sounds a little far-fetched, but if you think about it, the education system, they want to make more money from doing like, you have to pay for everything, and the parents, they have to pay for help. That's why I'm not in a good school, because my mom's cheap and they say I have autism spectrum disorder, and I talked about this before earlier on this album. It's not really an album, but I talked about this before, and and they just want to lower your IQ so that they can take more money from the parents of the kid with the lower IQ and like all the autism, ADHD shit, But yeah, those are all the conspiracy theories I just fought off the top of my head, and I just try to talk about it as much as possible. But yeah, I just thinking I could mix some. A big portion of it is conspiracy theories into this. I just didn't want it to be like ranting and comedy. I wanted it to be like conspiracy theories as well. So
Yeah.